in the early stages. You're looking for like the mech build over on the Viper. You're not getting the early Yasha. You're not finding the damage output, which you really kind of need to get through someone like a Dragon Knight, or at least control the Lina and the Lion, because they are going to nuke the living crap out of you. So I'm concerned that Bird United is going to fall a little bit short in the DPS area.
Yeah, I could see the concern here. I'm actually pretty interested in how the mid matchup's going to go if they do end up running Dragonite mid against the Viper. I don't think that matchup changes too much from where it used to be. Essentially, Dragonite has to survive through the laning phase. It's going to spam that a lot of Breathe Fire. The damage reduction doesn't change anything, primarily because the Viper, a lot of his damage comes out from Nether Toxin, so it's still going to be applicable. Kunkka actually picked up by Burn United. Well, that's definitely a change-up hero.
That's their mid.
Yep.
Sing Sing will always run that Kunkka in the mid. I'm loving the Nature's Prophet from NiP.
Why is that?
Absolutely loving it. Because it's allowing so much more aggression from NiP. They're not a team that's going to leave that Prophet just like, oh, we didn't win on the offlane that well, let's just put him in the jungle for a little bit. It's TP in when you're level 2, level 3, and go for kills. The Sprout duration was also increased, so it becomes actually a better ganking hero. Yeah,
certainly
you get your progression that way.
If you are not carrying a Tango or a Hatchet on you against a Nature's Prophet now, you are a fool, because that Sprout is just lasts way too long. I mean, potentially up to 6 seconds. That's insane.
Yep.
So you should always have Tangos on you. Ninjas of Pyjamas, I like it too, mainly because it deals fairly well against an aggro tri-lane, right? The Chen is going to rotate in, the Furion's going to rotate in. All of a sudden, you go from 3 versus 2 to 4 versus 3 to the favor of NiP.
Is that contesting of the enemy jungle I was talking about? They want to shut down
a weird
Chen,
way
so
about it, though.
They got 2 sentries and 2 obs. Yeah, they smoked up at the secret shop, and then they go through like the worst area you could. Because Hanskin's going to reveal them all. They put down the Observer Ward. Now, this Paralyzing Cask will hit, but that's their only stun beyond the Torrent, which is going to actually connect on Hanskin. He tried to dodge it, then you're Chilling Touch bonus damage, and that's what we're talking about. The reason why you can take every level 1 fight. But if both those stuns didn't connect, that would have been a disaster.
Yeah, you gotta give Burn United some credit there. Sure, they went up probably like the hardest smoke gank they possibly could, which is the 2 staircases downriver. But that being said, they were super prepared for the potential hero sitting on the cliff, which was MyNuts immediately laying down a ward the moment that smoke pops to be able to give vision for the cask. And then just because Sing Sing was able to excellently land that torrent, they get the first blood. So well played by Burn United. And sure enough, they are going to be continuing to run that aggro tri-lane. So as predicted, Ninjas of Pyjamas is going to just run with Era and Seal Kid at the top lane. Lina and Lion together. Should do all right, and then we'll try and contest as soon as the Chen and Furion are ready.
I like this from BU. Switch it up, keep the lane so you're not going to lose every single one. In fact, with a lot of potential to win the lane. So Era's going to have to hold back a long, long way. This Chen's going to have a little bit more of an influence. Like, he's going to get a Centaur as his first creep, so he's kind of happy about that. But he's going to be really sad he had to use one of his sentry wards to de-ward the Observer Ward. And now he's going to realize that the other sentry is actually in a really nice position. This one, I don't think you can actually de-ward this unless you got, what, the Observer Ward on the cliff to the left. I think that's the only way you can get that.
You know, I'm kind of curious about the drafting. If Ninjas of Pyjamas knew what was going to happen here with Paris picking up the Viper as a safe lane solo. Right before we saw the Kunkka picked up, I assumed that was a mid Viper. But the great thing is, safe lane Viper versus off lane Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet is one of the few heroes who can actually harass a Viper out of lane, because you just throw Treants at him, and obviously Corrosive Skin doesn't do anything for you in that regard. Doesn't reflect any damage back to the original owner.
This ward, I'm loving it. I'm loving just the sentry ward placement. That you can't de-ward it, and the hilarious thing is you can actually take out the dire Observer Ward that was planted because it's in range of the sentry.
Oh yeah, it's super good.
They need vision, of course, on top of the hillside, but if anyone walks down there, they should be able to see it and get rid of it. And in fact, MyNuts and Komi are already moving down for this. They're not coming for the ward, of course. They're coming for the rune.
But if they happen to somehow get vision up there,
if they walk up here, then they're going to get vision.
Yeah.
But they don't.
It's going to be picked up by Limp at the bottom lane, just to refill on his bottle so he can spam out more Breathe Fires up against the Kunkka. Kunkka should do fairly well against Dragonite, simply because, again, Tidebringer is that kind of extra bit of damage. That means the damage reduction out from Breathe Fire doesn't really affect you that much. Should still be able to get plenty of blast hits. Of course, Limp is going to be AFK farming a lot of this as well. So farm battle back and forth.
It is kind of funny. Like one's gonna breathe fire, one's gonna torrent, and they just get back as before. As you said, it's no one's really a winner in this situation ever.
Basically turns the middle lane into a Turkish bath. Steam everywhere. We're going to have a smoke up, though. Seal Kid as well as Hanskin are going to try and get the gank, and they will be successful.
Yep, Sing Sing being held, and there's your Hex follow-up with also the stun. The Centaur's in there in unison farm. That's Nature's Prophet coming in to help him out. He ends up kill securing the last one, but this gives him his face boots, which means his presence on bottom is becoming a little bit better.
He's going to be run down by this Rocket Barrage. Really good blocking out by
Where's the okay, there's a second Rocket Barrage available.
Yeah, Rocket Barrage is such a low downtime, right? The duration combined with the cooldown, it basically means that you've got, how long is it? Yeah, at level 1, it's 4-second downtime.
They're going mid. X marks, Torrent, and Cold Feet. Limp's going to get triggered on this. And BU in a good position to find themselves a kill. The Dragon Tail keeping Sing Sing back. He's got one Torrent left, but he's not in range to get the last hit in Limp, who does survive on 20 HP.
Nicely played. Good turnaround stun on the Kunkka. Just the natural tankiness of the Dragonite being able to survive through that gank. But again, this is what I'm talking about, right? Ninjas in Pyjamas, they're moving around. They're addressing that, it may not be a full aggro tri-lane out from Burden United, but it is an aggressive dual lane that should beat out most other lanes. Well, they're not trying to actively contest by sinking 3 heroes into that lane. They're moving around the map. They're saying, okay, you're going to try and win the static laning phase, but what happens when we move around the map against you?
So far, it's been 2 kills to 1. This is what's ended up happening. The advantage is still going the way of Burden United, for both experience as well as gold. We're only 4 minutes in, and the Chen's becoming a little bit more proficient in his jungle now as he's got his camps back. So all the wards are gone. And he'll be able to just easily move around. This also means we're going to be looking at smoke games because you've got more than one unit, or more than one creep to use. And the Lena's still finding levels on the top lane too. So she's up to level 4. When this Laguna Blade approaches rapidly, the Gyrocopter has to be very, very scared because there's so much control that can come his way on the top. In fact, here it is right now. Hanskin looks for the smoke gank. So he's going to come in through the river. At the same time, the Radiant Creep Wave gets pulled off the side. There's no vision for NiP. Actually, yes, there is. They're close enough they can see the heroes moving, and the fact that My Nuts went down the river. That paralyzing cast is a pain in the butt. Lippus died in the meantime in the mid, but the paralyzing cast allows My Nuts to escape.
Yeah, that paralyzing cast was perfect. Manages to stun up the original Centaur that was going to go for the Centaur Stomp, and then hit the Chen who was going to go for the body block. Paris manages to pick up the kill on bottom lane against Yonosumfan. Eventually the Viper...
I'm sorry I missed the last 2 kills. I'm not going to miss this one. Well, then again, maybe we will miss this one. Sing Sing, the stun too far away. My Nuts in the neighborhood again. The paralyzing cast going to bounce as well. With also the Torrent underneath Hanskin. They pull him back in, but tries to nuke down Sing Sing as much as he's got with the Centaurs. Hanskin can't finish the job. He will go down, but Limp will now arrive as well. So My Nuts locked on the hillside, so he'll end up going down.
Hanskin, that was so legit. Like, the fact that they managed to lock down a hasted Kunkka is pretty insane. Really good Centaur control, great body blocking, basically sacrifices his life. 1 for 2. Beautiful play. Ninjas in Pyjamas, they did lose out on a couple of kills, such as the bottom lane Viper getting the kill on the Furion. That's kind of to be expected. The advantage, of course, being that Furion can help out with some of these other ganks. Viper obviously became such a strong lane dominator once he gets that ultimate, particularly.
Just good to see BU getting some kills. Now they're going to get another one on mid. DK, this now, what, is his second death of the game?
Yeah, the magic damage out from Cold Touch is doing quite a lot of work against the Dragonites. He's usually pretty dependent on his armor.
Is this still enough, though, for BU to progress nicely into the mid game? Because you are still going up against a Chen who's finding levels. It's not perfect, but he's finding levels. And Nature's Prophet's already level 6.5. So you got split push to add on top of this as we go into the mid game. If BU want to group up and start going for ganks, and they don't have these wonderful haste runes on Kunkka, are they still capable of taking a team fight?
They are certainly not far enough ahead that the mid game is guaranteed win for Burden United, but they do have enough of an advantage in the laning phase that they can contest Ninjas of Pyjamas when they go for that the push. They should be looking to try and push down some towers. Now, NiP, if they fall too far behind in the laning phase, can go and, instead of trying to go for like 4 or 5-man pushes into towers, they can actually do a lot of split pushing. Chen on one lane, Dragonite another, and then the Furion on a third lane means that it's going to be hard for Burn United to constantly rotate around.
Unison Farm is dead. Ship, Torrent, and then just a little bit of attack. It was an Invis room from Sing Sing that set up for all of that.
So unfair.
He's getting so many of them, and this is something worth flagging during game number 1. Where was your rune control coming out from BU? It's all going the way of NiP, and now BU's finding it on their core Sing Sing, and, well, there will be a casualty of war. Come with me. That TP potentially should be cancelled as well. Yep. As you can see Limp moving over for the Dragon Tail stun. But the rune control's been so much better here for Burden United.
Yeah, Sing Sing is certainly thriving off of the Pyjamas. Their push in middle lane. It's a bit dangerous.
Yeah, because like NiP don't have their fingers of death or anything else. Nuts, the initial stun not going to do anything on Unison Farm, but the cooldown as well as the pullback on Hanskin, he'll end up dropping. Necroman, be controlled by the Centaur units. The Mud Golems will shatter themselves out now, and the Sprout, oh, there's a gap. He didn't get it perfectly. Limp turns around with the Dragon Form, but not all the way. Unison Farm does not want to bar this. The stun will not bounce down to the creep wave, but the X mark spot will be pulling him back in. So Witch Doctor will find the kill with the help there of Sing Sing.
Very sloppy. I have no idea why Limp didn't actually stun up the Witch Doctor there. Looked like a bit of a misplay. They do free up some room for Era to farm and push in top, but obviously I think NiP needed to get out much earlier. They lost the laning phase hard enough that they can't actually go for these straight pushes off of Ancient Apparition pickoff, right? An AA going down pre-level 6 doesn't mean anything.
Tips in the night. Era. He didn't see Soshka coming in, but he still managed to juke him around the tree line perfectly. And now he'll see him on the lane. But Soshka already having that mech completed. It's going to come out in the courier, but it's practically done.
Heading up to the top lane, or is it middle? Ice Blast actually coming to middle lane, where he's going to try and catch off Blip, and they'll get him, I think.
Is it enough damage?
Mind. They could go it.
Or with the Tiebringer. It's still not enough. It's the top lane where they're going to find the kill over on Era. Two-man smoke movement.
Yeah, I thought with a full combination they would have enough. Torrent isn't maxed out, and Tiebringer's only level 1, so damage-wise, Sing Sing's a little bit low. I thought he would have gone for
think about the 4.7 X.
Yeah, I thought he would have gone for the X marks the spot only level 2, but we're seeing, because of the added versatility to this skill through the ally delay being twice as long, you're seeing a lot more value in X marks the spot than previously placed.
Well, if anyone's going to do it, Sing Sing is the man. He's played so much Conquer. That was one of his original heroes when he first came to the scene. There goes your tier 1 tower, so Gyrocopter will take that one out. Item progression's looking good for Necroman, which means we probably will be able to see a Gyrocopter doing damage this game.
Absolutely.
They're going again.
Ancient Apparition, Ice Blast, it's just such a good combination with X and Torrent.
This time though, NiP, they're backed up a little bit further. And Hanskin's just freely farming inside the jungle now. They're trying to get him up to level 6. They need to have that Hand of God available.
Yeah, you know, the Gyrocopter, like the fact that the first tier 1 tower goes down to the advantage of Burden United rather than Agents of Pyjamas says a lot about the way this game is going.
Necroman's in trouble. He's going to let the cooldown go. Seal Kid. And he'll die to the cooldown right now. No, he won't. They kill him in time with the Lion Finger of Death. He lives on 39 HP. Avoids the Torrent of the Conquer too. They're going to send the ship in. Hunt's going to send him back. He'll end up surviving.
That was Seal Kid panicking, like, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. Just Finger of Death and Laguna Blade being used there. Ancient Apparition gets the pick off on Seal Kid inside the base. I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I die anyway.
Should have been looking for that one.
Wow.
12 to 5. You still brought down the Gyrocopter. He's not the highest net worth. That one still belongs to the Viper, but right now NiP are just happy with a couple of kills here and there. They would have preferred the line to survive because that was his Blink Dagger. Limp, he's went to Dragon Form, but he's not going to survive for long enough even for the Cold Feet to trigger on him.
Yeah, the double slows, too much for him to handle. The Agents of Pyjamas are, I'm not sure what they do from here because they've lost so much and they're going to lose even more if they Hanskin.
Nuts are sticking around here, and the Stomp, well, at least the stun was there, the Torrent, and now the ship. Hanskin's dead. The Ice Blast on the way here, so if they do stick around, Nuts will definitely drop. Actually, no, there's no follow-up damage to Unison Farm as well as Era, so they will survive too. There was a torrent.
A second tower goes down to the favor of Burn United.
Actually, just saw the two that Sing Sing. He's not going to see him in the tree line. He can't X-Mark spot him. But he had a haste tree searching for him.
Gyrocopter gets another tower here. He's got Treads, Ring of Aquila, and going to be building into a fairly early BKB. Pretty essential up against a Lion and Lina, obviously. So he's, with that early BKB, survivability in team fights is going to be paramount for him, and he'll start building into some physical damage that will probably outdo anything NiP have going mid to late game.
I'm still interested to see if he can deal with the split push that Unison Farm's going to bring. Now, he's not going for a split push build on this Natus Prophet. He's going for the Orchid instead, so looking for more control factor. I'm also not quite sure that's the best way to go when you know you're going to get the enemy is going to get BKBs up against him.
Another tower gonna fall here. 15 minutes, all the tier 1 towers down, and Burn United is still doing a good job addressing the split push. You asked, can they deal with it? Well, so far they seem to be rotating very effectively.
It's because they're playing their style. They're coming in, they know where they want to kill, and they set up for it. NiP is just looking to add pressure onto the lane, so they fall a little bit more into...
Smoke pops, Burn United backing away from this bottom engagement.
Razor Sentry was down with the Slave. Mind Nuts looking too healthy. Wasn't with the Wrath of Nature. So 1-for-1 trade-off on the supports. But you know Limp's in trouble when Kunkka throwing in the ship, pulls him back into the torrent. It's a double kill for Soshka, putting more money into him. Unison Farm's going to get spotted out at the last moment, but he TP's away to safety. This Viper Axe is coming so quickly.
He tried to sneak in the quick kill on the courier, but wasn't successful in that regard. You know, the Ninjas in Pyjamas, the play here for them, like with the split pushing, with the pushing power that they had, being able to take early towers would have led into a faster Yules and Orchid for the Furion. At that point in time, they have really good pickoff potential, which is quite strong versus the kind of 3-core lineup of Burn United. All their cores, the difference between this game and last game, I would say, first of all their cores got a good amount of farm in the laning phase, and second of all, I think their cores are more effective without the farm, right? There's no, like, you have to have a Blink Dagger on X hero before he's effective. That isn't the case here. Kunkka, Gyrocopter, and Viper are all effective without items in the first 15 minutes. Huntskin still trying to go for that mech, is very slow on picking that one up simply because his rotations have not been that effective. Era's actually going to go down to middle lane. Oh, wow. Sing Sing pulls off the combination.
That's going to open himself up for even more combinations. That Shadow Blade is fully done for him now.
I mean, this game is just so one-sided. It is a very stark contrast to game number 1 where Ninjas in Pyjamas, it was fairly obvious who was going to win that game. And now, Burn United, unless they do some heavy throwing, I don't see how they can lose this one.
And maybe that's what NiP do wait for. Like, you can
wait for the throw.
Yeah, basically. Like, we've seen it in the past from a lot of other teams where it's like, you know what, eventually you're gonna screw up. You're a team which doesn't have the same amount of coordination, or at least patience, I should say, to make these decisions in the late game. And then you find these moments up on top. Gyrocopter, he'll end up dying. There's enough stuns here. You still got the nuke from Hanskin if he's gonna... Yeah, he's gonna throw it out to secure the last hit. This helps him on his way to the mech. So they keep most of their army alive. And Unison Farm, the gank is still quite possible. You still have to keep in mind that BKB or no BKB, in fact, that's not even what Gyro's building into. He went for the S and Y. You've still got the Blink Dagger from the line. He blinks in, he gets the Hex, you're instantly controlled. The follow-up control will always be there from the Nature's Prophet. This is where NiP, patience is a virtue that will win them this game. They just have to wait for BU to get out of position, have as many good wards up as possible so you know what fights you're going to be taking, and then take them. Don't let Sing Sing be the one to dictate the terms, because he will try. He will come around and try and find pick-off after pick-off after pick-off.
And yeah, he's certainly already doing that with the Shadow Blade. They're actually going to go for a smoke up. This is a big advantage of Burn United. NiP didn't really have too much incentive to save their smokes. Burn United did, because their mid-game ganking strength is so much stronger than their early game. So they've got multiple smokes to be able to utilize. Happen for the bottom fight. We're going to see another one for the pick off on middle here.
Yeah, they're getting close enough to Limp. He's right behind. Like, I don't think you really want to come in this deep. You'll trigger off the Ultimate Form with Deathborn, and surprisingly, NiP aren't bringing anybody to help. They don't have the Wrath of Nature available, but you do have Lion's Finger of Death and the Laguna Blade of Era. But then they just decide, you know what, take out the bottom tower. cleans everything up and just push.
Could they actually, even if they saw like the moment that Kunkka popped his X, could they actually TP and contest? I don't think so. It wasn't underneath the tower necessarily.
You get extra frags, that'll be it.
Yeah, I mean, even that is questionable, right? Solely because the Viper is so tanky at this point. Like, if he's the last one out, he's got the mech for himself. You can't kill him. He's sitting at 1,400 HP right now. He just finished up Aghanim Scepter.
One big Viper. It's one big Viper.
Yeah, at this point, the best play for NiP is to just split push and ignore the pickoff, right? Sing Sing, when he gets someone, don't try and help. Because they're pretty much guaranteed dead. They're all low enough HP right now that they'll die to the Torrent and Ship combination, especially with an Ice Blast on top.
Okay, so if they're going to do this, though...
Like middle lane.
Yeah, Limpus then. Ship coming in.
Ice
It's
Blast
actually, it's
missed,
not
actually.
enough. Yeah, without the Ancient Apparition Blast hit. It's only level 1, though. Actually, no, sorry, take it back, level 2. I don't think it still wouldn't have been enough damage to get the kill.
It will very soon be enough damage with the Aghanim Scepter that's coming up on Ancient Apparition. That's an overwhelming amount.
Yeah. Okay, but if we go back to what we were talking about before, so NiP, you accept the fact that people are dead when they come in for the initiation. You find these type of pickoffs like up on top, where Sasha's going to get fingered, and the Chen nukes. He's still with the mech available. Do they have enough damage to get through him? Yes, they do. They just probably will find the kill, and it was the Orchid trigger at the end of it all. So... at this point, does NiP just wait for these moments and then think you can defend from high ground, or you keep it so split up that you might be able to hold on to some of your tier 2s?
Yeah, they're built with like the Orchid and Yule Scepter. Like, they have to just routinely focus on pickoffs and just let Sing Sing basically do whatever he wants. He's going to find kills all over the map, and there's not much they can do to contest. They have to find enough pickoffs that they reach a certain strength in like the 30 to 35 minute mark. They have to get like so many pickoffs that it's like, oh, we kind of clawed our way back in. Now we can actually go for maybe a 5-man team fight. But I would even say like they could potentially think about going for the late Shadow Blade on Lim. Like, that's how much they have to just focus on getting one kill. Throw like 3 heroes just to get 1 hero kill and then back out immediately before Burn United can respond. It's got to be that guerrilla hit and run sort of style.
For some reason, the courier in mid ended up battling up against a melee creep. It was the one little Radiant courier that took a little bit of damage for that. But they backed it up in time. Actually seeing, like... I'm still wondering if Sing Sing decides to go for the Silver Edge up against Limp. So I'm still not sold on it now, with it being more expensive to get rid of Dragon Blood. If that's really enough. And even then for NiP...
I mean, it's
we're not going to see it for Natus Prophet, but he's walking around with an Ogre Club and a Belt of Giant Strength. So my question marks are starting to come up.
I think it's got to be. I mean, it's just too good. The item is too strong versus any hero that has passives. Plus the fact you get strength out of it. And Kunkka loves strength. So I think
what about Natus Prophet? Like, what is he building up here? Is this meant to be a BKB later on and an Necro book as well? Or... are we looking at Unison Farm actually going in for the Sange?
I'm actually not sure about this. I think he has to go for the Shadow Blade Silver Edge just because they have to focus on assassin kills and not BKB. I would see a little bit more team fight possibilities.
But would you still want to have the Necro book? Because it isn't one of the big things for NiP. They're pushing power, they're split pushing power.
Yeah, I think Necrobook would have been the best choice for Jonas Fun, honestly, but I don't know why he has that open.
Maybe he's just a little bit worried, because I'm feeling it's a BKB because he's worried about getting X marked out, or potentially just being crushed by everything BU have, but at the same time the cooldown slow is still going to have its effect, and if Viper strikes on you, then yeah, you're still being slowed.
Yeah, I guess like, so I was a little bit confused, I guess, by the build, but BKB is the best item. Because they have no disables to go through that, so you're right, that would be the best idea, and then the Belt of Strength will go into the Necrobook later on.
NiP is walking directly underneath Observer Wards. They got there, yeah, and there's the de-warding of it all. They're trying to make BU blind on the map. At the same time, BU are going for something which is going to take them a while.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they're trying to Roshan with a Viper, as well as Witch Doctor, which... while they're very tanky and will be able to live and finish the job, they don't do a large amount of damage.
Yeah, is it worth it to get Roshan if it takes you 5 minutes? I don't think so.
For the loss of your tier 2 tower as well. Well, then again, if you kill off Unison Farm, which they do have, he's dead. The cooldown will come in and take the last hit.
Yeah, but again, that pickoff was going to have, whether it was now or 30 seconds, a minute from now, like those kind of pickoffs are naturally going to occur, so it's still a win for NiP. And they could still conceivably contest Roshan if they just like happen to go onto the Roshan pit and they're like, you know, Viper's been missing for a while.
They're coming down. Do we have a buyback on Prophet? No, we do not. He's short the money. But yeah, Hero just walks straight past him into the death ward. You'll Scepter up will buy him a little bit of time with it out of Viper Strike, but there's nothing else to do now. He's dead to the world. Buyback is...
We'll get tier 1 in middle though. Onskin gets it. So essentially, like, yeah, they lose 2 hero kills, but again, those pickoffs are going to happen anyway just because the way this game is set up. I look at it, that trade-off is basically a tier 1 and a tier 2 for Roshan. I think that's worth it to NiP.
As long as they don't lose any more. Because by having the Sago's the Immortal now in the hands of Soshka, they could try and just come for the tier 3 tower. Which could in the end also be a big mistake for BU, because now you're fighting from NiP's position of power.
Clever girl. Yonasamfan's going to backdoor the tier 1 tower and also stall up the next incoming creep wave. So they can, if they can force Burn United back from this tier 3 tower push, there will be no creeps for a secondary push after that. But no one's rotating out just yet. Sailed Kid, he's going to TP back. Yonasamfan's going to continue to pressure forward, but the tier 3 tower is going to fall, and Burn United now do not have to back up.
Limp have a bit of a run in. He wants to. Now they're coming with the stuns. They've got that amplification over on the Viper with the stuns, but Limp is still going to end up going down. He'll buy back into the game. Hanskin so low. Hand of God, he can't get it off in time. He'll end up dropping down. The Flat Cannon will mop up most of the creep wave, and Era, well, at least there's a dodge of the Viper Strike. The BU, they're trying to force the issue into the base.
Yeah, Steel Kid actually held off on Finger Death, which was the right play, but he's going to have to use it now. He's going to die otherwise. Maybe not. Slow, good net out from the troll. Sing Sing just pushing these heroes farther and farther back while they take the Raxes. They need to focus the Raxes. I'm not sure where the bottom three. Has backdoor protection gone up?
I don't know, but they've lost that creep wave, so maybe it has.
It should be that if they just stayed inside the base.
Protection level 1, it's on right now. So yeah, they can't.
It's on now, but they were still inside the base. There should have never been a point where they exited the base.
I'll take that.
Well, either way, that felt like, I mean, Burn United still got the tier 3 tower, and that's good and everything, but boy, it was an unfortunate setup that they weren't able to finish off the Raxes. They're still super far ahead, though.
Oh, yeah.
You've got Silver Edge now completed on Sing Sing. They're going to have, he's actually going to go back for the drums to make use of that bracer.
It's also going to help him to try and mop up these racks a little bit quicker. But NiP, like, they've got themselves a lifeline at the moment. They have to make more out of this Nature's Prophet, who is in fact pieing and has almost bought up the entire Silver Edge. He actually bought the Claymore and then he keeps the Silver Edge in his stash. So Unison Farm, maybe he can disable his passive with the Viper, which is really the only one he's going to be taking off. I doubt he's looking to remove Tidebringer. But it's just... I'm just seeing NiP. If they can hold for another 10-15 minutes and not lose the racks, they're looking very, very good in the future. Because Unison Farm, this tier 2 tower might really come back to bite BU in the butt. Because it's allowing Unison Farm a lot of space to move on top. Oh, the X mark spot. He's actually going to go down. He needs to TP out of here, but the ship's going to be killing him off. And this is big. This is huge. This
and a pick off on middle, too.
Almost impossible. And yep, there goes Lift. Steel Kid will jump in, but he's too late for the stun. In fact, Necroman is already BKB up, so the stun has no effect whatsoever. 3 euros gone, and this is a disaster. This could actually be the end of the game right now, as they're mopping up all of NiP. It's a full team wipe. This will be a second Rax, and in fact, GG. We get to go to a third deciding game.
I mean, this game was, in my opinion, this game was over as far as like 10 minutes ago. Like, Burn United gets such, it was like, it had to be like split pushing and finding pickoffs and like everything had to go right for NiP to somehow, and also Burn United just simply didn't push into like base. Like that was also another hope. Like they just hope they don't push in, guys. But yeah, it was just unfortunate that they lost the early game so hard that it really wasn't much of a contest.